You're listening to the Anonymous Advice Podcast. Join Andrew every Monday as he dives into the internet and beyond to give life and relationship advice to complete strangers.
I walked in on my son having sex with my brother's wife. What the fuck? Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Sit back and relax to this not suitable for work podcast as Andrew tackles hard-hitting questions like, should I date my cousin? And why doesn't anyone love me? Welcome to Anonymous Advice.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Anonymous Advice Podcast. My name is Andrew, and holy hell, my first episode of my first ever podcast. I've never done this before. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking because I'm all alone. But I think, I can make my own time to do this. I don't have to rely on other people. And I said, hey, everyone else is making a podcast, and I'm a sheep. Why not do it? But anyway, welcome to the podcast. Did you guys like that intro? I wish I could say he's a friend of mine, but I literally just paid him on the internet because who's got time for that shit, am I right? Maybe I'll switch it around sometime soon. But I guess I could go into first a little bit about myself. I'm Andrew. I'm 32. I'm single. I've been living in Brooklyn for 10 years, and I work in Manhattan. I work in the music business. But in the past month, I've gone home to where I'm originally from, outside of Philly, in a cute little suburban town, to save up some money. When we go back to the office in Manhattan, my lease ended on my other place, and I want to come back here to save up some money so I can move into my own place when we go back to work. Quarantine is crazy, I love the suburban life, though. I get to have Wawa 3 times a day. I get a car. I'm cruising around, hanging out. It's a convertible. Put the top down sometimes. This entire basement that I'm in right now doing a podcast, we're turning it into so I live with my brother right now. He's got this massive house by himself. We have this basement we're turning into a podcast studio, and it's literally bigger than my entire New York City apartment. That's a benefit. I get to go to the store and have more than 3 bags of groceries with me. I don't have to walk back to my apartment. I can drive there, pick up 15 bags if I wanted to. I did that at Walmart the other day. Speaking of, it was my first time back at Walmart in over a year, and I had to call the cops. I'll tell you the story really quick. So I was in Walmart shopping. I was waiting in line, 45-minute line. I mean, people were wearing their masks. You had to, social distancing. People were kind of afraid. They're sweating. It's 95 degrees out. People are crying. It was the whole scene was crazy. So this nice lady came up to me, asked me if I was in line. I said, yeah. We started talking for a minute. I was gonna get her number. I was like, oh my gosh, she's very cute. Let me try and get her number. But I knew that once I took my mask off, that she would just run away in terror, just run out of the place, just yelling, ah! So I didn't do that. Got done at checkout. The cart back to my car, started putting groceries in. There's a guy smoking a cigarette outside of his car right next to mine. He says, hey man, it's my second confrontation at Walmart today. Feeling good. Sunday afternoon. I was like, hey man, what's going on with you? He's like, nothing, bro. What's going on with you? Now I'm kind of off put by this because he's just smoking in my face. My parents said never talk to strangers, so that's another thing. I said nothing. He was like, hey man, do you know who got out of that car over there? And he pointed about 10 feet away where there's a car. I was like, no, why? What's going on? Everything cool? He said, well, there are 2 babies in the car and nobody's around. It's been 10 minutes. I was like, you're shitting me. He said, yeah. Well, first he said, no, I'm not shitting you. Then he said, yeah, there's kids in the car. I said, what the fuck, man? We got to call the cops, right? So I went up to the car. There's 2 babies in the back seat. Windows were sort of down, but it was 95 degrees out. We're sweating outside, just talking to each other. So I call the police. Well, first, before the police get there, before I call the police, a cart guy comes over. He's just pushing the carts around. I'm like, hey, cart guy, come here for a second. He's like, there's babies in the back of the seat. What, should we call the cops? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm the cart guy. No, I don't know. I'm like, all right. So then I call the cops. I get the license plate number, standing there for about another 10 minutes or so. And lo and behold, the wonderful, stunning lady comes out that I was going to ask on a date, and it's her car. Now, my first piece of advice, don't go out with your cousin. That was just in the intro. I'm sorry. Second, don't leave your kids, your babies in a car when it's 95 degrees. Don't leave them in the car ever. What happens if they get kidnapped? What happens if the cigarette guy wasn't around? So she comes out, she storms out. I would never date someone who leaves their kids in the car. I would date someone who throws their phone at me once every 6 months because I probably deserve it. But I wouldn't even walk the line with kids in the car. The only thing I would do is call the cops on them, and hopefully they sort it out. Now, I don't know her situation. However, she talked to me in line over 40 minutes ago. So the kids have been in the car for about an hour. She comes out, starts screaming at us, "Fuck you guys, you losers!" She did the whole thing. She put an L on her forehead like that Smash Mouth song. I said, "Hey, lady, nice one, but I'm no loser." So that was crazy. I got out of there after that. She sped off with the kids. I had the license plate. The cops still weren't there yet, but I talked to my new cigarette guy friend. He said he'd handle it, so I gave him the number that I saved on my phone, license plate number. His wife was really cool. We may go barbecuing together. All he wanted me to bring were some barbecue chips and some Bud Light Limes. So that was crazy at Walmart. Did not expect that to happen for the first time back. However, you just can't let people get away with that stuff. It's disgusting, and it's gross, and it's upsetting. So look out for people. Kids are the future, so you got to look out for them. Anyway, so getting into a little bit of the premise of this, when I was leaving New York, my friend and I were having a conversation over a few cocktails. Well, let's be honest here. I think it was probably 17 each, and by the end of it, we were just like, "I love you, man. I fucking love you, dude. I love you." But anyway, we were talking, and we thought it would be a cool idea. Sometimes people want advice from strangers. They don't want advice from their friends or family. They need an outside perspective. And I thought, hey, why don't I just start a podcast on that? Maybe I'll take some questions from the internet at first because, again, I have 0 people listening to this. But if you have something that you want to talk about or you want to be a guest on here, we can go through some stuff together. How cute would that be? Just send me an email and I'll put it in the link description and whatnot at the end of each episode, I guess, on the bio or whatever. AnonAdvicePodcast@gmail.com. So Anon, ANON, advicepodcast@gmail.com. Let's get into it. Episode 1. These questions were submitted by a couple friends who wanted me to, answer them, put them on the first episode. I haven't really looked at them, which I guess is pretty cool. I guess it'll be my reaction to reading and giving the advice. Let's do it. All right, here's the first one. I walked in on my son having sex with my brother's wife. Wait a minute. I walked in on my son having sex with my brother's wife. What the fuck? Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Wow, episode 1. This is going to be so much better than the movie. All right. I'm a 44-year-old female, and I walked in on my son, who's 18, having sex with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. Jesus. In a cabin. And I think they have been having sex for a while. My brother moved in with us in February with his wife and 2 children. My husband and I have a big house on a farm, since my husband's a farmer. And with everyone working from home, we thought it would be a good chance to stay together as family and for my nieces to spend time on the farm. I have 3 children and all of them live with us. The oldest is 18, who's in question, and the other 2 are 16 and 13. On the day my brother arrived, I went to buy groceries with my son, and he went to the pharmacy to get his gym supplements, and I bought the food. And I saw condoms in a plastic bag when he arrived at the house. 36 condoms each, so 72. That's a decent amount. Good for you, buddy. I didn't think anything of it. Thought he had gotten a girlfriend and wanted to be safe. Everything was fine. Everyone was getting along. My sister-in-law and son would go on an early run around the farm. Everything seemed normal. Until last month when they left on their run, but I was up baking and never saw them make any rounds around the farm, which they typically did. I asked about it and they said they decided to hit the road. Again, everything seemed normal. My sister-in-law and son seemed to have a very good bond. Oh, did they? They did. You were correct. Yesterday, I was coming from a friend's house early in the morning, and the sun wasn't up yet. The actual sun, not the other sun. It was a little dark, but I saw that the cabin we have in the farm was open, and the light was on. I thought maybe one of the employees had forgotten to lock it up. So I went to close the door and switch off the light. As I got closer, I had heard people having sex, and I took a peek. It was my son and sister-in-law having sex. I didn't confront them. I was so in shock. I still haven't told anyone what I saw, and I don't know what to do. Should I confront them? Should I tell my brother? Should I tell my husband? I'm so confused. Okay, what the hell is going on here? You need to tell your husband immediately. And your brother. Wait a second. Hold on. There's like 7 people on this farm. So they're all living together on this farm. And you caught your son having sex with your brother's wife. Your brother is going to beat the shit out of your son. You need to get your son off of that farm. There's a lot of questions here. Does your brother own a gun? I assume there's 7 people there. You have a farm, farming, whatever. There's got to be guns around. Get your brother away from the guns. Tell your husband immediately. Wow. He's 18 years old. I was going to say. The brother's probably going to blame the son, but it's his wife's fault. The wife's 34, by the way. Dude, he's a kid. This could have been happening long before, too. He could have been younger. This could be illegal. Tell the husband, confront the son. After that, tell the brother, get a lawyer. This is going to ruin a lot of people's lives here. Wow. 18. What a champ. It's not his fault. It's the sister-in-law, right? Jesus. What a way to start. Dude, this entire family is ruined. Like, maybe you shouldn't tell the brother that it was your son. Maybe you saw the wife cheat. Either way, if you don't say anything, your brother's going to be cheated on his entire life with this woman. And your son is a douche, but he's a kid. The sister-in-law needs to get out of the house. Like, needs to leave forever. You got to tell your brother. I don't know what to do about the son. The son needs to go away forever, too. Somewhere safe where he won't get murdered. The sister-in-law is going to tell the brother that it's the son anyway. Oh, man. This is drama to the max. God, first question. All right, my advice is confront the son first alone. See if it's actually true. You never know. Then get him out of the place. Then tell the brother, confront the sister-in-law. Brother, get a lawyer. Get her out. That's my advice. All right, let's get to another question here. That one was ridiculous. That family is ruined. That son has a lot of explaining to do. So does his sister-in-law. All right, next question. Here we go. This is serious. I wish I was kidding. My girlfriend wants me to act like a horse when we have sex, and I'm not into it at all. At least you're saying you're not into it in the title. Just so we're clear. Here we go. So a tiny bit of backstory. My girlfriend of 6 months loved horses. Has all her life. Horses are great animals. I've ridden one before. Granted, my balls started to hurt as soon as I got off the horse. And for about another 2 weeks. I never rode a horse again, but... In addition, seemingly relevant point is during sex, she sometimes says stuff like, me with that. Is that a compliment? I've never thought much of it. I thought it was just a way of saying it's big, which is good. But she's started to take it further, and it's turned into a bit of a fetish that I'm not entirely comfortable with. A few days ago, she told me she wanted to role play, and at first, I was pretty on board. But then she said as horses. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, and she took it the wrong way. She said she was tired and went to sleep. I said fuck it and trying to make her feel better. Said I'd do it in the following day. Honestly, it was okay, but very, very weird. So what did you do? Were you just on 4 legs? You should have acted like Mr. Ed. At least Mr. Ed can talk. If people don't know what Mr. Ed is, it was let's see, Mr. Ed Horace. Wow. So Mr. Ed was a sitcom in 1961. It lasted 6 seasons. It was about a talking horse. Maybe she just wants to Mr. Ed. All right, let's get back to this question. Very weird. So she got so into it and said it was the best she's ever had. And next time wanted to buy costumes and maybe do it on some hay. I told her no and I didn't want to do it again, and she's back to being mad at me. Am I being a dick here? I don't know what to do. I just need a second opinion. Dude, yes, it's weird. You're not being a dick, but some people have fetishes. You know what I would do? I would do in their situation? I would do it once. I would buy a costume. Maybe so it's not as weird, wait until Halloween. There's got to be a Mr. Ed costume you can get. She just wants to horse, dude. I would do it once with the hay. I think you can get hay at Home Depot. So you can probably get hay for, a couple bucks a pound. And just put it around your room. Yeah, you can get hay for 50 bucks. 50 pounds of hay. That's great. It's at Petco. I would get the horse costume and do it. And if she wants to do it after that again, I'd probably break up with her. That's just me personally. But if you can handle being a horse, I would tell her to hold her horses. You can't really get on her about her fetish. I mean, maybe, I don't know if this is true or not, but if you're riding a horse, can't you get like an orgasm sort of almost from it? Asking not for guys out there. Or when you're riding a motorcycle, it's like, it's like it feels good. Isn't that a thing? So maybe she just remembers that as, when she was younger as, her first experience. Jeez, I'm walking some fine lines in this question here. This is tough. I mean, I may need an outside opinion on this one. So shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you about this one. But, everyone has their own fetishes, I like a foot every now and then. Feet are nice. Nice little pedicure, whatever. Yeah. So you can't really bash her, but if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I honestly wouldn't do it once just to break up with her afterwards. I mean, I would break up with her, maybe, but I wouldn't want to do it every year on her birthday either, though. I'm backtracking, obviously, but I would totally do the full out Mr. Ed on the hay thing one time, and then you got to sit her down, saying this is not. I don't think I could do this. I don't think I can do it. That's my advice. Send in some questions, folks. I'm on a roll. anonadvicepodcast@gmail.com. ANON advicepodcast@gmail.com. These are spicy. All right, let's go on here. I overheard my fiance tell her friend on the phone that she settled for being with me and that marrying me was her last resort. Advice: divorce. That was easy. All right, let me read this. Basically, the title: I overheard my wife talking to one of her best friends on the phone while I was passing the bedroom. This friend is in a serious relationship. My wife then said to her, "Sweetie, remember it's your choice. Don't settle for just anyone. That's the mistake I made. Who knows who else I could have had? In parentheses, my name was my very last resort. And now look where it made me end up." Jesus. Hearing that honestly broke my heart in two. Does she even love me? Am I being dramatic and overreacting? Dude, no. What? Why would she even be saying that in your house? She knew you were around. See, here's my thinking. Maybe she knew you were around and wanted you to overhear it. You need to leave her. There's no point. Do you have kids? If you don't have kids, it's going to be so much easier. You need to talk to a divorce attorney. That's what you need to do. You need to confront her about this. If she honestly thinks that, you need to leave. Maybe she was just saying that to her friend so she didn't feel bad about her relationship, but that's fucked up. You guys need to talk. I wouldn't even do therapy, man. I would not do couples therapy. I would leave, if you can. Do you guys own a house together? There's a lot of questions here. Oh, you're not married yet. It's a fiance. Oh, dude, get out of there. What are you doing? Leave. Run. Go for the door. Run. There's much better people out there for you, man. I'm on your side. I'm on your side. We need to do an update. I wish there's going to be an update for that sister-in-law and son story. Holy shit. Yeah, maybe some on this podcast. I know it's brand new. I'll do updates too. Maybe I'll do one episode a week, and then I can do an update maybe midweek or something. A quicker version. Wow. My advice: run. Do not marry this woman. Yeah, this is a fiance. He says wife, but he says fiance in the title. Divorce is hard. If you're married, get a divorce. If it's a fiance, run for the door. Get an apartment. Live your life, man. That's my advice. All right, one more for you. And please, if you have something that's going on in your life and you need another opinion other than your friends or family, just happy to give you some wholesome or not wholesome advice. Yeah, I feel like this podcast is going to be definitely not suitable for work. Definitely when we talk about fucking Mr. Ed, I think that's when we sort of lost the whole I'm not going to curse on this podcast situation. All right, last one. 21 years old, going on a first date ever. Need advice. Tomorrow, I'm 21-year-old male, going on my first date ever with a girl. She's from Tinder. That's so cute. In the last 6 years, I basically have zero experience with girls. I'm scared shitless. Don't know where to take her, don't know what to talk about. Current plan is to take her to the beach and grab a few beers. That seems like a great idea, dude. That's so great that you can do that you live near a beach. Sort of reminds me of Asbury Park. I mean, Asbury Park was a dump about 15 years ago, but now it's really beautiful. There's a lot of restaurants out there. I used to go to this thing called, what was it called? Skate and Surf Festival. It's kind of like Warped Tour, because I am an emo kid at heart. And yeah, that sounds great. Beers, beach, and what to talk about. I think it'll come to you when you're together. I mean, if you're both shy, it's kind of awkward at first, but normally when people get to know you a little bit better, they start opening up. Most of my Tinder first dates have been really good. We end up finding things to talk about, whether it's like music, movies, TV. I mean, just talk about quarantine. Is this during quarantine? It is. Whoa. Wear masks. Don't want to be coughing on people. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, dude. It'll come to you. I'm excited. Let me know how it goes. There's an update. I didn't see this. All right. I got an update, everybody. I got unmatched. He's a bitch. Oh, no. No. Oh, no beach and beers. I feel bad, man. That's sick. But anyway, you know what? She wasn't the one for you, dude. She wasn't the one. Come on. Get back out there. Get on Tinder. Find someone who will enjoy your company and who would like to grab some cocktails on a beach. I'm sure there's someone out there. And don't take it so seriously, man. It's all right that you got unmatched. We all get unmatched. I get unmatched every second of the day. All right. Thank you for tuning to the podcast. I'll be back next week. That's my advice.